Потом билетик будет тоже.
Ясно.
Before buying a ticket,
Go, Canada, go!
Bernard Gallant and Team Canada got into the quarterfinals by the slimmest of margins. Needed some help at the last day of the preliminary round, but here they are facing Russia in the quarterfinals. Canada has won 5 consecutive quarterfinal games of the World Championship after losing 5 straight prior to that. So the Russians are on a roll. They've won 4 in a row, scored their opposition 16-3 in that time. They have the most goals scored through the preliminary round. A roster loaded with veteran players, but seeking their first gold medal at the World Championship since 2014. And they turn to Sergei Bobrovsky, who just arrived last week after Florida got knocked out. He was pulled from his last start in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He allowed 10 goals in 2 starts for the Florida Panthers and gave way the rest of the way in that series. Darcy Kemper for Canada has a save percentage of .889 in the tournament. He's playing in the World Championship for the 2nd time. Russia is the home team, will have the last change and a berth in the semifinals on Saturday at stake. We've already had drama here in this arena earlier today. Germany scored the tying goal with less than a minute to go in regulation, beat Switzerland in a shootout. The United States has advanced after a decisive win over Slovakia. And the Czechs will play the Finns as we get underway here.
Good stick down, hold them down in the eyes. Go, go, go!
And away we go. Nikita Nesterov of the Calgary Flames goes ahead for Anton Slepyshev, the Russian captain. Former Edmonton Oilers. Slepyshev plays it around to Mikhail Grigorenko. Loose in the corner and trying to kick that ahead is Andrew Mangiapane. This line of Brown, Mangiapane, and Henrique has scored 10 of Canada's 19 goals in the tournament. Owen Power, we watched with interest last night as the NHL draft lottery was held and the Buffalo Sabres grabbed the first selection. We welcome those of you watching from Buffalo who would like to see the player, the defenseman who will likely go first overall. Kamenev moves that in now for Russia. Tries to move around Sean Walker, and Walker banks it off the glass and back to center ice. Ivan Provorov of the Philadelphia Flyers knocks that back, and the Russians counterattack the pass through the middle for Artyom Shvets-Rogovoy. Walker goes back, plays it back around to Mario Ferraro, who leads Canada in minutes played per game. Provorov goes back, being trailed there by Maxime Comtois. Russia is 5-0 in this tournament when it scores first.
I think the start is so key for Canada. Just get themselves in the game. They're a young team. They're inexperienced in these kind of games representing Canada. Just get their legs moving, get part of the game.
Stetcher lost an edge as Barabanov drops it back to Dmitry Orlov. Across to Artem Zub with a shot that's tipped high by Barabanov. Vladimir Tarasenko out there as well. He plays it down to Barabanov. Tarasenko works in, drops it back. That pass missed Morozov. Now Zub with a shot that's knocked away by Kemper. Tarasenko's missed 85 games the last 2 years with shoulder problems that started when he was hit by Sean Walker of Team Canada when he was playing against them with the LA Kings.
But despite all those injuries, he still chose to come over here after his season concluded in St. Louis, in large part because of his relationship with the coach, Valery Bragin.
Yeah, Bragin coached Russia to a gold medal at the 2011 World Junior Championship. Tarasenko was a member of that team. Now a centering pass moved in. Bertasov comes in, shoots. He was also a member of that 2011 team. So 3 of them here. Bragin coached the Russians in 9 World Junior tournaments. First time now as the head coach of their men's national team. Jared Anderson-Dolan plays it around to Power. And Owen Power's ice time has been climbing as the tournament has progressed. Being flushed there by Tolchinsky, and Power swings back. Power banks it around. Jacob Bernard Docker, pass through the middle, chipped in by Liam Foudy, and he's knocked down by Zadorov at center ice.
Well, the last time you're going to say that, Zadorov has been an absolute train in this tournament.
In comes Voronkov, but it's still wearing a full cage from a facial injury he suffered in the KHL, and Provorov knocks that wide. Connor Brown threads it across, and Braden Schneider, who played this year for Brandon in the Western Hockey League, knocks it down to the Russian end. Provorov lays that ahead for Grigorenko. Now Gavrikov keeps it alive, shoots, saved by Kemper, rebound, that's tapped wide. A wraparound try. And Voronkov couldn't get that to cash. Here's Orlov back with it. Back to Gavrikov. To Orlov. And the Washington Capital star spins away from Connor Brown. Orlov drops it back. Grigorenko, a hard shot, and through the traffic, Kemper makes the save and is able to hang on.
And I think this is the way a lot of this game will play out. Russia will have the puck on their stick. They'll be throwing around. They'll be looking for different opportunities to score, and Canada will have to defend, be solid in their reads, and play around their net. And maybe above all else, Darcy Kemper is going to have his best game of the tournament. See Barabanov had a fantastic showing in this tournament. They're coming over from San Jose.
Now a race for it. Comtois trying to poke that head, and Artem Zub knocked that down. The play called at the Canadian line.
Alexander Barabanov, you see 8 points in the tournament. Never could quite find a role that suited his game when he was in Toronto, but when he moved to San Jose late in the year, suddenly he found a little more ice time, a bigger role, and a pretty good production with 7 points in just 9 games.
Loose in the corner. Orlov plays it back around. Picked up by Fritz Rogovoy. That's knocked away from him. Canada breaks out 3-on-1. Velarde across the line to Ferraro. He's tied up by Zub. In the corner, trying to dig that free is Velarde. Michael Bunting, the Arizona Coyotes, to Gabe Velarde. Feeds that back at the point to Ferraro. Across he goes to Walker. Walker dances in around Timken. Lays that down to Velarde. He's tied up. And it's poked free by Kamenev. Kamenev tried to move that ahead. That's Rogovoy with it. One of several Russian players playing his first IIHF tournament for the Russians. You rarely see that. And here is Zub with it. What a free agent signing he was by Ottawa. One of the best of the NHL this year.
He emerged on that Ottawa team as a real steady shutdown defender.
In comes Tarasenko across the line. Vladimir Tarasenko, a backhand shot. Kemper knocks that away. Here's Barabanov back on it. Moves it back around to Tarasenko. That rolls off his stick. Brandon Peary. Up ahead for Nick Paul. That goes off a skate. Owen Power had fallen. And now Peary plays it back across to Power. The 18-year-old from Mississauga. Jumps in across the line. Power comes in. Puts that through the feet of Nesterov. Power back on it to Peary. Henry pass. Great chance for Paul. Now back at the point. It gets by Justin Danforth, who's back in the Canadian lineup after missing the last game. And Danforth would know these players well. Played in the KHL this year for Vityaz Podolsk.
5 minutes in, Canada gets their first shot of the game, and it was a good one, right in front. Russia got caught committing too many guys below net.
Berdasov winds into the Canadian zone. Berdasov posts up in the corner. Stops that back, and a long shot taken there by Gavrikov. And played back down to the Canadian zone. Bernard Docker with it. A very brisk pace here in the first period. Canada's won the last 3 meetings. The last 9, including this one, between Canada and Russia at the World Championship, have all been in the medal round.
As they should be.
Tolchinsky through the middle to Grigorenko. And Mikhail Grigorenko plays it in. Bernard Docker goes back for it. Loose behind the Canadian goal. Anderson Dolan's got it. Head to Brandon Hagel to the line. And it squirts back to center. Voronkov plays it back to Zub. Grigorenko has it poked away by Hagel. In comes Brandon Hagel with it now on Grigorenko. Backhands that wide. Henrique goes after it on Slepyshev. Henrique knocks it down. Throws that back in, and now Henrique back at center ice to Ferraro. Walker winds in across the line. Walker holds, plays it back in deep to Brown. Connor Brown rings it around. A centering pass, just missed Henrique. That was Mangiapane. Now Walker back to Ferraro, feeds it across. Henrique with a shot, and Bobrovsky gets the shoulder on that. Brown back on it. Top line goes to work for Canada. Connor Brown back around to Andrew Mangiapane of the Calgary Flames. He's tied up by Voronkov. Mangiapane down to Brown, trying to center it. Banks it back to Ferraro. Feeds across to Walker. Walker flips it back in. Zub tangled in front with Mangiapane.
They're battling in front. Zub and Mangiapane. The North Division back at each other.
Ferraro to Mangiapane. Canada's changing. Mangiapane buys some time. Drops it off to Brown. Connor Brown back in the corner with it. Drops it back to Velarde. And Gabe Velarde walks in. Has a look. Centers it. Goes off the side of the goal. Zub back on it. You got to hear in 2 hours the way they're going. Schneider plays it in. And Zub brings it back around. Up ahead for Evgeny Timkin, who plays for SK St. Petersburg. He got rattled there by Comtois.
It's better for Canada in the last couple of minutes. They've started to move their feet, handle the puck a little bit more, trying to find some time and space.
9 of 28 players on the Russian roster play for SKA St. Petersburg, which is coached by Valery Bragg in his first year behind the bench as their head coach. He finished 6th in the KHL regular season. Now Danforth in, shoots, that's off a skate and wide. And the puck back down to the Canadian zone. Stetcher back to pick it up. Danforth with it. Fires it back down. It banks off the inboards. Provorov lost the puck to Paul. He centers it. Now Peary tries to throw that back for Stetcher. Shoots, and Bobrovsky steers out away. Picked up by Power. Back to Paul. Trying to drop that back. It's knocked away by Morozov. In comes Morozov. Little back pass picked off by Power. Coming back on the back check. Now Stetcher back with it. Lead pass to Paul. Nick Paul. Rink wide pass to Danforth. Justin Danforth. Swings that back at the point to Power. Cross he goes to Stetcher. Paul standing in front. Stetcher shoots. That goes off Tolchinsky and wide. Over 5 minutes now without a whistle. Stetcher. Pokes back in the corner. Provorov stepped into him. Provorov is a load. As Peary got knocked off the puck by Morozov. Power steps up. He got knocked down by Morozov, but stays on it. And now Power digs that free for Anderson Dolan. The centering pass for Perfetti. That's knocked away by Gavrikov. Gavrikov up ahead for Sergei Tolchinsky. That's knocked down, and back they come again. In comes Nick Bodin with a shot. That's blocked. Loose puck in front, and Grigorenko steered that away. Now Grigorenko down to the Canadian line. Bernard Docker for Hagel. Loose puck was almost knocked free by Perfetti. That kid line of Perfetti, Anderson, Dolan, and Foudy doing some good work for Canada. And now chipped in by Perfetti. Back goes Orlov for it. Joined this team when the Washington Capitals were knocked out. And now Orlov had it knocked away by Mangiapane. Look down the Canadian zone. A bouncing puck scooped up there by Walker. Snaps the pass ahead to Henrique. In comes Canada 3-on-2. Henrique for Brown. Connor Brown for Henrique. That was knocked away. Mangiapane knocks it down. Can't get a shot away. Brown back to Mangiapane. Around to Henrique. Banks it back to Walker, and Walker holds the line. Henrique. Down low to Mangiapane. Andrew Mangiapane. 4 goals in 4 games since joining Canada after Calgary season ended. Connor Brown feeds it back in front. And Ferraro jumped up, can't get a shot away. Now knocked down by Brown. In for Henrique. Connor Brown gets it back. Adam Henrique around that discarded stick. Mangiapane comes in. A wraparound try goes through the crease. Grigorenko back on it. Tired Russians on the ice now. Slepachev's moving ahead. And the lead pass was knocked down by Ferraro. Rink goes to Walker jumping in. Sean Walker works it. It bounced off his stick, and Slepachev banks it out. Back goes Velarde. 9 to go here in the opening period. 7 minutes since the last whistle.
Tremendous pace, both teams.
Ferraro, lead pass to Comtois, Maxime Comtois. Lead pass for Michael Bunting that skipped away from him, and now the Russians have some numbers. In comes Fetch Rogovoy, a little backhand shot goes high. Power back on it. Power tried to clear that back out. Back to the point for Nestorov, Nikita Nestorov. Slides that back, and the shot taken there by Kamenev. Loose in the corner. Power's got it back. And Owen Power slides it into Comtois. Backhands it into the Russians on a bouncing puck. Nestorov bumped off Bunting.
You better be ready. If you're going to be around the puck, someone is going to hit you.
Now the loose puck goes to Bunting. Back across the pole with a shot, and Bobrovsky makes the save and is able to hang on. Catch your breath. There's no score here in the first period.
The International Ice Hockey Federation reminds all fans that it is obligatory to wear a face mask that covers both the nose and mouth while inside and outside the arena within the arena gates, and that gatherings in the concourse are strictly prohibited. All fans must stay in their assigned seat, except for when using the water. Thank you.
8:11 to go here in the opening period. No score between Canada and Russia. Also no score across the street between Finland and the Czech Republic. Third and fourth quarterfinals of the day. Owen Power pokes out ahead to Brandon Perry, spins and shoots. That goes off the skate, up and out of play.
Brandon Perry moving up in the lineup after scoring a couple games in a row, and he's there to provide offense. You can kind of just see Canada figuring out, yes, they're good, but you know, we can play with these guys, we can skate with them, we can generate chances as the period turn in Canada's favor.
Face off won by Danforth. Back at the point is Power. Power to Paul. Danforth with it. Morozov takes that away, but Danforth has it back to Power. Owen Power back to Perry, a long shot. Bobrovsky to save through traffic is still loose, and Paul couldn't find it. Vladislav Gavrikov with the Columbus Blue Jackets. A hit for Barabanov working in. Danforth stepped into him. Now a chance at the side of the goal. Tarasenko missed wide, and the puck goes back down to the Russian zone. Gavrikov to Provorov. And Provorov bumped there by Foudy. Plays it around. Loose in front for Walker. Lead pass. He finds Hagel. In comes Brandon Hagel. Shoots. That was blocked by Zub. Move back around and Foudy gets on it. Liam Foudy. Back to Walker. Head crisscross. The centering pass is picked off at center ice by Berdasov. Berdasov. Bernauhov, a long shot. That's knocked away by Kemper. Behind the goal is Berdasov. Berdasov throws it back in front. That's blocked. Kemper trying to freeze it and does. As some pushing and shoving breaks out. There's still no score here in the first period. Vladimir Tarasenko with the shootout winner for Russia against Sweden. Russia went 6-1 through the preliminary round. Their only loss to Slovakia, 3-1. Slovaks were knocked out earlier today by the United States.
Russia was the class of the division of the group. Had the most goals for, had the fewest goals against. They did finish first.
Back at the point is Orlov. They have been snake bitten in this tournament. Long shot, gloved down by Kemper, and Hagel picks it up. Knocked down at center ice by Zub. In comes Artem Zub, swings it across to Voronkov. And trailed there by Stetcher. Voronkov tried to center it. That's knocked away. Now Grigorenko being shadowed there by Foudy, the Columbus Blue Jackets teammates this year. Voronkov banks it back to Zub with a long shot that was blocked by Hagel. Slepyshev. Watched by Baudin. And Baudin throws that back to center ice, and Zub has it. Zub was a gold medalist for Russia at the 2018 Olympic Games. Orlov works in. We've got 5 off that gold medal winning roster from 2018. Slepyshev drops it back. Zadorov, a shot that was tipped away by Mangiapane. Henrique high off the glass and back down to the Russian line. Orlov moves out ahead. That's stolen by Mangiapane. Centers it. Henrique in, shoots. He missed wide. Now a chance for Mangiapane at the side of the goal. What a chance for Henrique there. That's Rogovoy. Plays it past Ferraro and down, and icing called against the Russians.
Mangiapane just has a knack for finding pucks. He knocks down this one, jumps on another turnover, draws in 2, and then cues up Henrique, who's got it all alone. He's been so good in this tournament, fires it just wide on the blocker side. But the quickness of Mangiapane has made this line go.
Now Velarde for the face-off against Kamenev. Picked out by Bunting. Bunting had a terrific year for the Arizona Coyotes this year. 10 goals in 22 games for them when he was called up. That's Rogovoy. Plays it around. Here's Orlov. Up along the boards. Ferraro steps up. It's chipped by him. And Comtois back for Walker. John Walker moves that down to the Russian zone. And the poking Nikita Zadorov turns it over to Bunting. Bunting centers it. That's knocked away by Shvets Rogovoy. Lifts it ahead. Knocked down by Walker. And Walker looks at for Bunting. He was crunched there by Zadorov. And Bunting slow to get to his feet. Zadorov, 6'5", 230 pounds.
And plays moving forward. He's very good at timing big hits.
And there's Chicago connections there. As Barabanov picks it up. Brandon Hagel was nearly missed by him earlier.
No friends. One of the interesting dynamics of this tournament. No friends, no teammates.
Morozov drops it up for Tarasenko. Chips it back across to Barabanov. To Provorov. Works it and shoots. That goes off a stick. Rebound. Tarasenko backhanded that. Knocked down by Bernard Docker in front. Jacob Bernard Docker. And a gold medal play for Canada. The 2020 World Junior Championship. Beat Russia in the gold medal game that year. Bouncing puck. Moved by Baudin. And now Henrique. Rink wide to Brown, and Connor Brown chips that back to the Russian zone, and Mangiapane goes puck hunting again on Gavrikov. Mangiapane works it free for Brown. Brown punches Provorov, and Bertuzov has it back to Barabanov. He's slammed there by Stetcher. Stetcher has to go off his skate, but Danforth drops it back to Power. Inside 4 to go here in the opening period. Owen Power. Means center ice, winds it across the line. Power holds, feeds it back in front. McPaul with a chance that bounced off his stick. And now Tolchinsky back the other way. Up ahead for Karnauhov. Shoots, Kemper makes the stop. Rebound, Tolchinsky on it. Banks it back to Orlov. Orlov slaps it across to Zub with a shot that goes wide. Tolchinsky back with it. Tolchinsky crisscrossing with Zub, slides it back across. Zub takes that pass from Bertuzov. Karnauhov in behind the Canadian goal, trying to get loose on Stetcher. Power gathers it back up. The puck bounces back to Tolchinsky. Stetcher steps into him. Now kick free. Karnauhov puts it behind the goal, feeds that back across for Voronkov. And a penalty coming to Canada now. Owen Power is going to get one here. And it's touched up, and with 2:50 to go in the first period, Russia will get the game's first power play. For interference, and Russia will get the game's first power play. 5 for 20 on the man advantage in the tournament. Canada's allowed 2 goals and 18 opposition attempts, and Gerard Gallant wants an explanation from referee Mikhail Nord.
I think he's talking about the Zadorov hit on Bunting, looking for a penalty on that one. How do you not call the one in the neutral zone, and then you call the one on Owen Power that reached out? It was a penalty on Power. He got out of position, reached his hand out, tripped him. He wants a penalty on the Bunting hit from Zadorov.
Morozov for the face-off against Paul. Scramble draw, rolls to the line. Orlov lays it back in. Bertuzov. There's 2 power play goals for Russia.
Ball. That was trouble. There was 3 guys on the far side of the ice wide open. Picked off the pass.
Burdasov drops that back to Orlov. Orlov, rink wide for Tarasenko, chips that back to Provorov. Russians have 2 defensemen on the power play at times. As Morozov goes after it, that puck goes over the glass and out, but for the most part, it's Orlov who runs things for them. Provorov will get some time as well.
What Russia has is a really good world-class defense core. And Orlov, Provorov are elite level defensemen, can do it all. Defense, offense, you name it. They can run a power play, they can kill penalties.
Zadorov's an intriguing one too. Great big guys had trouble kind of putting it all together at the NHL level.
You got to play him on your terms, not his. You want to try to get physical with him, you'll lose that battle. But you make him skate and move, you give yourself a chance.
Stetcher up ahead. Henrique, who has a short-handed goal in the tournament. Adam Henrique in with Liam Foudy. Flip pass out to Foudy. Swats that towards the goal, and now Bobrovsky drops it down and leaves it there for Burdasov. Up for Tarasenko. They were teammates in that 2011 World Junior team that came back against Canada in the 3rd period in Buffalo. Morozov with it. Knocked down by Bernard Docker. Now move back to Orlov. Orlov slaps it across. Tarasenko in, holds, shoots. He fired it wide. What a chance for Tarasenko.
Stetcher runs the boards trying to pressure it. He doesn't get there in time. Tarasenko not the guy to leave wide open on the weak side. Just missed the net.
Barabanov with it. Drops that back to Grigorenko. Ahead for Slepyshev. Moving in. Slepyshev, a rolling puck. Back for Grigorenko. For Barabanov. Back to Grigorenko. Works it back. Provorov winds and shoots. He rattled up high off the glass. Bouncing puck in front. That's knocked away by Ferraro. 15 seconds to go on the power play. Provorov to Grigorenko. Drops it down to Slepyshev. Barabanov plays it across. Bortolchinski. And he can't get a shot away. Time winding down the power play. Walker reaching for it. Ferraro digs as well. And dug loose by Ferraro. Power steps on the penalty box. That was chopped down at the line by Slepyshev. And now Walker got tangled up there. And he's battling with Slepyshev. Anderson Dolan chips that ahead. 30 seconds to go in the period. In comes Kamenev. Shoots, and Kemper makes the stop on that.
Canada survives the penalty kill.
2 shots on goal for Russia on that power play.
A couple missed nets as well. There's one. Here's a tight angle rebound. And Grigorenko finds the angle. Darcy Kemper almost fortunate as we got some pushing and shoving still going on. Timkin and Mangiapane. Here's a good look for Tarasenko. I mean, at this point, you expect him to score more often than not from there. When it's one-on-one the goalie, he has that kind of wrist shot. And tempers are flaring, and they're still going on right now as Walker and Slepyshev get in a tangled mess. Lions been doing everything they can to separate them. And this entire commercial break, or last break, there's been this conversation continuing by both sides. Understandably are flaring.
Still no score between the Finns and the Czechs in the first period of that quarterfinal matchup. Finland doesn't blow anyone away, so
that will be close in the end no matter what.
Kamenev off the face-off. Lost that to Danforth. Now Stetcher. Up to Mangiapane. Flips out ahead for Danforth. That was knocked away. Bouncing puck picked up by Henrique. That was knocked aside. Bouncing puck to Stetcher. Flips it back to center. Danforth on it. Connor Brown just had a penalty kill shift for Canada. As time winds down here in the period. And Canada and Russia will go to the dressing rooms even at 0 after 1.
That was a good period. It was fast, intense, physical. I think Canada proved that they could play with Russia. About 5 minutes in, and after that, it was pretty even both ways.
And the jawing continues back and forth. You're watching the 2021 World Hockey Championship. Our first intermission is coming up.
friends and families, technology that helps us to find joy. All those things that make life, and us, human.
Škoda, simply clever.
For the last 2 years, we had to pause the game that we love. But the love for the game has never died. Ice hockey is ours. Our endless spirit, our passion, our love. Little by little, the IIHF is bringing the game back. It is time to get back on the ice.
Игра состоит из множества моментов. Каждый момент приближает тебя к выигрышу. Ближе и ближе. Движение за движением. Касание за касанием. Момент за моментом. И победа у тебя в руках. Лови момент для ставки.
Nose and mouth, but inside and outside the arena, within the arena gates, and that gatherings in the concourse are strictly prohibited. All fans must stay in. All fans that it is obligatory to wear a face mask that covers both.
Good sticks down, hold them down in the eyes. Go, go, go! No, no, go, go, go! blue paint, boys. Sticks in the ice. Puck is loose, boys. Good job, boys. Hep, 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 hep. Thank you. Guys, that's enough. If we continue, we have to do something. Guys.
He's going for a change, 26, and he comes and hits him. That's insane.
Dabei ir brīnumiem pilna, ir brīnumi, kas redzami katram, un ir tādi, kas slēpjas zemes dzīvēs. Vienu no brīnumiem.
Side. Beauty.
So far. I like
Go, Piercy. Shooter, baby. Not here to pass. Just like that. It's not here to pass. Maybe you get a kick pass. How they call it? Or wrist. What was it? Go, once. Come on, go, Paulie. Same way, boys. Here we go. Right on.
Hey, where were you going for that? Where were you going with that? I kicked it out to you. Sparks on high?
Yeah, I really thought it was so fun.
Oh, I know. I like it. I like it. Oh.
Really, that's...
Did it?
Back here in Riga, Latvia, Canada and Russia scoreless after one period of play in the quarterfinals. Canada's won the last 3 medal round meetings between the two teams. In 2018, a 5-4 overtime victory in the quarters. Ryan O'Reilly, the overtime winner. In 2017, Canada won the semifinal 4-2. And in 2015, the gold medal game, Sidney Crosby and Canada in Prague won 6-1. Russia's last win in the quarterfinals in 2011. This is the 9th straight meeting between Canada and Russia that has been in the medal round. They split the previous 4. Or, sorry, split the previous 8, 4 each.
They're two of the best hockey playing countries in the world. And it doesn't really matter whether who's wearing the jerseys. The games are going to be intense. They're going to be close. And there's a lot of pride, emotion involved.
James will start the second period, 5-on-5. Gail Nord with the drop, and Nikita Zadorov, who was in the middle of things in that first period, fires it in. Here's Power around to Stetcher. Knocked down by Connor Brown, ahead for Henrique. Now it's Voronkov with it, but it's taken away by Brown. In comes Connor Brown along with Henrique. Mangiapane trying to find some space. And Brown throws it around. Power jumps up now. Owen Power. Bounced away from him. Grigorenko chips it back down to the Canadian zone. Icing waved off as Stetcher goes back. Troy Stetcher brings it around to center ice. Brown got knocked down there by Nestorov. Moved ahead to Mangiapane jumping in. Mangiapane works in, drops it back, and a quick shot fired wide by Velarde. He was hammered down as he collided there with Gavrikov.
The referee's going to have a conversation as Nestorov comes in and has a conversation. And oh, here comes Gerard Gallant. Velarde taking the shot. Gets hit as he's releasing it. Mangiapane drives it back. Here comes Velarde. Oh, that's on the shoulder. Don't think he got him in the head. That looked like he got him mostly in the shoulder from Timken. Might be late, if anything, but I don't know, Gord, if that would be contact with the head. Obviously, the Canadian bench would beg to differ.
So the officials are talking it over.
They're going to give him a charge. Looks like they're going to get a charging penalty out of it.
And there will be a Canadian power play here.
And that could be, you know, he came from a ways away, skated hard into him and delivered a hit. Wasn't a head hit. Here's Timken coming across the middle. Velarde's focused on trying to drag and pull him. Catches him in the shoulder, thank goodness, otherwise it would have been much worse. But Canada will get their first.
2 minutes charging, yes. Yes. 2 minutes charging.
Just 2 minutes. They know it could have been worse, so Canada will get their first power play of the game.
4 for 26 in the tournament. Comtois leads the way with a pair of power play goals. He's out there now. Russia's allowed 4 goals on 18 opposition attempts. There is Valery Bregan, who turned 65 the other day. Face-off was won there by Kamenev. Now picked up in the corner by Mangiapane. Feeds it back to Walker. Walker in for Mangiapane. Winds in, feeds it back across. That's skipped away from Brown. And poked down the edge. Walker's got to hustle back. 2 Russian players converging on him. Walker goes back. He's got Shvets Rogovoy, who's a big penalty killer for Russia, in his rearview mirror. Mangiapane back around to Walker. Brown moves in across the line, rings out around Mangiapane, goes after it. Gavrikov on his backhand. Squeeze that ahead. Henrique back to Walker. Walker back across to Comtois. Maxime Comtois led Anaheim with 16 goals this year. Slides it down to Brown. Connor Brown works it back across. The centering pass goes back to Walker. Goes in and shoots. That was tipped wide by Henrique. Mangiapane races up. That's chipped by him and back down the ice by Karnauha.
Comtois scored the exact same play against Finland from Brown from behind the net. Tried to squeeze it out while he's going around the back of the net. And went to the well again.
Walker to Bunting. Cross ice pass for Velarde. That was poked away. And Shvets Rogovoy has it back. His second year with SK St. Petersburg. which is cornering the market on young Russian players. Matvei Michkov, who was so good for Russia at the under-18s, has just signed a 5-year deal there. He's eligible for the draft in 2024. Now a chance for Bunting. Drops it back, and a quick shot by Velarde. Stopped by Bobrovsky. Loose puck in front. Velarde battling for it. And now Bunting has it back. Bunting back for Power. Owen Power drops it back. Velarde feeds it to the goal. Bunting back across. That just missed Peary. What a chance there. Now Peary back with it. Brandon Peary. Little back pass for Power. Owen Power. Back for Velarde. Shoots. Knocked down by Bobrovsky. Timken back on the ice. Velarde centers it. Here's Peary with it. He falls. And now a chance for Orlov. He moves ahead. Velarde got a stick on him. And Peary knocks it back in. Bunting a hard shot. Bobrovsky makes the save and hangs on.
Pretty good looks for Canada on the power play. Good job on the forecheck, keeping things alive. Bunting finds Velarde. He gets another look. Squeaks out the 7-hole for Bobrovsky, but he managed to keep it out of the net. He tried to go down low and across. Just the timing not quite perfect for Brandon Peary, sneaking down the back door for Bunting. That's pretty good for Canada. Nice idea for the short side tip as well. Lots of different looks, attacking from different levels. And not being too fancy, Gord. Getting pucks down to the net.
Face off one back by Anderson Dolan. Ferraro has a swing back. Mario Ferraro. The San Jose Sharks in for Hagel, who chops that down. Nestorov, who came back to the NHL this year after 3 years in Russia, played for Calgary. Tarasenko, rink wide pass, jumping in, chance for Nestorov, and a glove save made by Kemper.
Nestorov gets hit behind his own net, sees a chance, and jumps up to join the rush. Pretty good look, and Darcy Kemper makes a save and lets everyone know, I got it. Right here, that's a couple times he's popped that glove up in the air with the puck inside it. Darcy Kemper's had an okay tournament up to this point. He's pulled one of the games early
against the United States.
Americans, but he seems to be getting better, like the team, getting better as the tournament's gone along.
Bernard Docker plays it around for Brown. Connor Brown, rink wide, drops it back to Nick Baudin. Baudin up along the boards. The center ice, he goes to Mangiapane busting in. Andrew Mangiapane drops it back to Brown. Rink wide for Henrique. That pass was in behind him. Now Henrique shoots, deflected puck goes wide. Mangiapane back on it. In behind the goal is Brown. Try to hook that back in front. Brown gets it back. To the point to Baudin. Baudin throws that rink wide. Bernard Docker with a shot that deflected wide. And moved away by Voronkov. Grigorenko plays it back down the ice. Baudin hustles back. And Baudin off the back of the goal and scooped up there by Henrique, the Canadian captain. Adam Henrique to Baudin to Bunting. And Bernard Docker with it. What a year for Jacob Bernard Docker. Started in college at North Dakota. Continued in the NHL with the Ottawa Senators. And winds up at the World Championship. Here's Ferraro with it. Back across to Walker. Snaps that pass for Comtois. Got on his reach. Comtois goes in on Zub. Karnauhoff moves down ahead. The pass on the reach of Tolchinsky, and back goes Walker for it. Walker. Dumped there by Karnauhoff. Ferraro. The puck bounced back to him. Velarde got tangled up there with Tolchinsky. And Ferraro. Lead pass to Walker. Rink wide to Comtois. Chips that down, but Zub sends it right back ahead. Finds Tolchinsky, rolling puck, and Kemper grabbed that, but the play was offside at the Canadian line.
Be careful with the turnovers if you're Canada around the blue line. Russia will offer a quick counterattack. And Tolchinsky is one to try to slide in behind the defenseman. You see a turnover, they go. Trust their defense to make that stretch pass. Tolchinsky's got the wheels to get in behind any defense.
Ragan, 5 years in Denmark as a player, 8 years in the old Russian Super League. 9 times the head coach of the Russian national junior team, a gold, 5 silver, and 2 bronze.
A lot of hardware.
And some heartbreaking losses along the way. Hall drops it back to Danforth. That skipped away from him. Stetcher jumps up. Stetcher back around to Paul. Nick Paul loose behind the goal. Paul digs it free. Drops it back to Stetcher with time. Troy Stetcher has a look. Shoots. That was blocked as Timken got in the way. Stetcher banks it ahead to Paul. Nick Paul, rink wide he goes for Peary. Brandon Peary. Through that rink wide, Timken gloved it down. And Nesterov bumps it back ahead. Power back forth. He and Spets Rogovoy collide. And now Power.
That Spets Rogovoy has got some closing speed. He can get in on the checking.
In comes Paul with it. Nick Paul works across the line. Paul jumps in and shoots. That went high. Played back in by Danforth to Paul. Bounced away from him. Nesterov has it back. Nesterov, a fifth-round pick once upon a time with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Played for them in the Montreal Canadiens before heading back to Europe. That's by Perfetti back down the ice. An icing called against Canada.
A rare time where Canada caught on an icing. They have the young guys out there. Anderson, Dolan, Perfetti. And we'll be heading up against Tarasenko, Barabanov. Maybe Russia's #1 line, if you want to call them that. A lot of responsibility to take on.
If you know Brogdon and you've watched his teams over the years, he doesn't really give his top players more ice time. You don't see an NHL type of game sheet with a defenseman getting 25 minutes. Or there's Tarasenko with a shot. That's blocked. Back in front. Tarasenko put that wide. Barabanov back with it. Tied up in the corner by Walker. It comes free to Morozov. Feeds that back. Provo the long shot. And Kemper makes the glove save and hangs on. 13:38 to go in the second period. There is still no score. Mangiapane arrives for Canada and everything turns around. They were 0-3 when he got here, and 9 things had to happen for Canada to make the quarterfinals. All 9 things had to happen, and they did.
They had a great run of luck. Now, 4 of those things were them picking up points, which they had control over, but a lot of it wasn't.
5 weren't.
It all came together in the last game with Germany knocking off Latvia in regulation time, so Canada got the 4th seed.
But that gone to overtime, Canada would have been out, and it came close in the 3rd period as Voronkov knocked that down, and the play's offside at the Canadian line. And right now, would you say, Mike, that this is a pretty good setup for Canada?
I mean, they've been improving as the tournament has gone along, and they know they are a little bit fortunate to be here, and yet they're here. And once you get to the quarterfinals, anything can happen. It's 3 games in 4 days, 1 good weekend, 1 hot run, and you could be a world champion. And couple that with the fact you're playing Russia. That is going to get Canada's best every single time.
Bobrovsky back with it. Finishes 2nd year with the Florida Panthers, a 7-year, $70 million contract. Polchinski moves in, tied up by Schneider, who's lost his stick. Now Schneider quickly retrieves it, but a backhand shot. Kemper the save, puck still loose in front. And a great chance there for Bertasov. Bunting sends it ahead for Schneider. There's Braden Schneider, the 19-year-old from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Velarde works in. Gabe Velarde dances around Orlov. Velarde still with it. Montois. Back to Schneider, a long shot. That's gloved by Bobrovsky. And he'll hang on. 4 of the 7 Canadian defensemen who remain in this tournament have played through within 25 NHL games. Schneider, of course, has played none.
And he's not played a whole bunch in this game, so he drops the stick trying to handle a one-on-one. He goes back to pick it up, and that leaves the front of the net a little bit open for a second, and a quick chance for Bertasov. Shovels one, and before he's closed off. And then Schneider jumps right up and goes all the way below the goal line in the offensive zone on a forecheck, showing very little fear of the situation.
Weak connection there. Schneider and Provorov. Chance at the side of the goal for Peary. Put that wide. Provorov had 2 terrific years with Brandon. Was named the defenseman of the year. He was a star there. Philadelphia sent him back after his draft year to play 1 more year, and he has turned into a stalwart NHL defender with some offensive upside. We should mention Colin Miller, who began the tournament for Canada. Buffalo Sabre was injured and has had to leave Team Canada. The Canadian players, all the players here are in a bubble, so you got to give credit to all those who chose to come. But Canadian players, it's not 100%, but then they have to quarantine when they get home. They've been in a bubble here and been tested every day, but it was a much greater commitment than usual for the World Championship to come this year. Now a centering pass for Peary, couldn't get a shot away. And Grigorenko has it. Mikhail Grigorenko fires that down to the Canadian zone. And now Walker with it. Walker. Rink wide for Danforth. That was knocked away. Off the bench comes Power. Owen Power. Long lead pass for Paul. In on Nestorov, and Nikita Nestorov has it back. Up for Timken. He was bumped there by Ferraro. Power goes back. And once again, Shvets-Rogovoy gets it on the forecheck. Tries to throw that back. Picked off by Hagel. Bouncing puck at center ice. And Kamenev drops it back for Gavrikov. Provorov, a lead pass for Timken. Shvets-Rogovoy gets in again, bumping there with Hagel. He plays it back around. Scooped up by Kamenev. Ferraro. Back to Power. Owen Power on it. Puck loose to the side of the Canadian goal. Picked out by Barabanov. Banks that back. Gavrikov plays it back in. Kamenev throws it at the side of the goal. That's knocked away. Now Foudy back on it. Hagel races to it. Now back at the point. Long shot was blocked there by Ferraro as Provorov had his shot stern away, and now Foudy works in. Liam Foudy banks that back across. Brought up by Morozov. Ivan Morozov plays for SK St. Petersburg. Got back to Provorov. Tarasenko with it now. Vladimir Tarasenko steps around Stetcher, tried to center it. Bouncing puck. Barabanov couldn't get a shot away. Now Stetcher has it back. Drops it back to Henrique. Long lead pass for Mangiapane working in now. Past the midway point of the second period. Kotenski sends it ahead. Now busting in is Bertasov with a shot. And the save is made by Kemper. Henrique out to center ice. That missed Mangiapane. And icing called against Canada.
Maintaining your structure is so important. And Bertasov finds some open ice far side, and Darcy Kemper has looked as solid as we've seen him in this tournament, as under control and confident and oozing confidence, which hasn't always been the case.
They're a little behind us across the street. They had a long video review in the first period that reached a no-goal conclusion, so it's still scoreless there in the second. Finland and the Czech Republic. The teams are reseeded after the quarterfinal round. The top remaining team will play the bottom one. The middle two will face off in the other semifinal. Here's Stetcher. Lead pass to Mangiapane. Andrew Mangiapane chips that down to the Russian zone, and Canada can make a change after the icing. Voronkov, who plays for Kazan in the KHL. Baudin. Cross to Velarde. Drops it back to Nick Baudin. 21-year-old defenseman slides it in for Stetcher. Stetcher moves into Comtois. That centering pass goes astray. With Danforth back in, Canada's back to 13 forwards. Cole Perfetti has been the odd man out so far for much of the night.
And the Danforth is good because they need a right shot centerman to take some face-offs.
Bouncing puck to Shvets-Rogovoy. That's scooped up by Ferraro. Bouncing puck at the side of the goal. Shvets-Rogovoy has it back. Takes the return pass, being shadowed there by Comtois. Timken moves to the front of the goal. Here's Gavrikov with it. What a deep pair that was for Columbus last year in the playoffs. Gavrikov and David Savard.
Gavrikov is a large man. He is a strong human. Tough to play against.
Here's Bunting from a sharp angle. Tried to slide that down. It was knocked down by Kamenyev. Here's Provorov with it. Ivan Provorov. To Timken, he was straightened up there by Baudin. And the puck back down in the Canadian zone as Kemper leaves it there for Danforth. Danforth signed a free agent contract with Columbus earlier this month. Pokes that in for Paul, and Nick Paul plays it ahead. And two Canadians converge on Parabanov, and the puck goes down to Kemper. He'll squeeze that. 7:53 to go in the second period. There is still no score. Face off in the Canadian zone. 7:53 to go here in the second period. The shots are even at 4 in the period. It's 12-10 Russia in the game.
Low event hockey, I think, is the way Canada wants to play this. They don't want to run and gun. They don't want to open this up. They have to try to keep it structured and tight.
Power on it. Morozov tried to work that free, and it's knocked down by Paul. Nick Paul chips it ahead on his Ottawa teammate, Artem Zub. And Zub swings back for it. Didn't play in the first 8 games of the year for Ottawa, and then was not only a mainstay, but was in the top 4 for the rest of the year. Peary. Brandon Peary tied up along the boards. He gets tied up. Kept alive by Anderson Dolan. He drops it back, but was in behind Power. Owen Power with a rolling puck. Slides it across to Stetcher. Troy Stetcher of the Detroit Red Wings. In for Power. Owen Power so poised, throws it down, and that's squeezed by Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky, a 2-time Vezina Trophy winner, as the NHL's top goaltender. He's been around a long time, and Owen Power has yet to play a game in the NHL. Hasn't been drafted yet, and doesn't look one bit out of place.
You said poised, and I think that's, his size, his skating ability, but his poise with the puck in every situation. He does not look panicked at all. It's a great attribute for any young defender.
Nick Baudin and Liam Foudy. Anderson Dolan. Tied up along the boards, drops it back. Baudin with a shot that got through and tipped just wide. Foudy tips it up ahead. We got Hagel playing on this line with Foudy and Anderson Dolan. Anderson Dolan walks in and shoots. Bobrovsky saved. Loose puck in front. That's knocked away by Nesterov. Look high in the air. Bernard Docker pokes that back ahead. Nesterov banked it back up, but the play is called offside at the Russian line, and the faceoff will come back down to the Canadian zone.
An intentional touch after the offside, but I love Gerard Gallant getting the young line out in the offensive zone. A little less pressure, let him go to work, and a couple looks here. First tip by Hagel, almost awkwardly contorts himself to pull that one back towards the goaltender. Anderson Dolan had one on Bobrovsky as well, who has also looked pretty good for a guy who hasn't played in a while. He's been tested too much, but I also wonder what his fitness might be like, Gord. You haven't been through a 3-hour ordeal like this.
His first time on the ice with his teammates was this morning at the morning skate.
So since he last played, now he practiced a little bit. Since Florida lost out, he hasn't had a real practice until this morning.
His first day here was last Friday. His quarantine ended this morning. Now it's picked up by Mangiapane, but that again is offside. At the
Canada arguing that they brought it in off, that it went in off a Russian. So it should have negated the previous offside.
And
Toronto was pretty calm for the round robin.
Yeah?
I'm seeing a little heightened intensity out of the coaching staff.
Pretty fierce competitor as a player. 10 seasons in the NHL. With Detroit. Now Ferraro knocked that down. Miro Ferraro chips it there for Mangiapane. Mangiapane spins and shoots. He put that wide. Slepyshev races to it for Russia. Up ahead to Voronkov. And Voronkov looking for Grigorenko. He was a huge scorer in the Quebec League for the Quebec Remparts under Patrick Roy.
He's a huge scorer everywhere but the NHL. I mean, really.
5:53 to go on the second. Who's going to score first here in Riga? No score here, no score across the street. We had a thriller here earlier today between Germany and Switzerland. Won by Germany in a shootout.
After tying it up in the last minute with the goalie pulled.
Moritz Müller, the German captain, had tears in his eyes after the game.
It means a lot. These guys dedicate so much time and energy to their national programs, and for a team like Germany that doesn't always get the chance to play for a medal.
It's not like you think, you know, oh yeah, we'll get a chance at a gold medal next year.
We'll do it next time. That's not going to be the case.
Rarely comes across for them, and both Switzerland and Germany kind of on the same trajectory of trying to build their national programs, and Germany has done an incredible job the last 5 or 6 years. Well, the crease in front of Bobrovsky is fixed. We're going to face off outside the Canadian line. Velarde versus Vladislav Kamenev, who was a Nashville second-round pick. Played 4 NHL seasons, just 66 games, kind of up and down between Milwaukee and Nashville. Off the draw, here comes Bunting with it. Bunting flips that in, goes after Zoo. That's picked up by Orlov. Just completed his 10th NHL season. Won a Stanley Cup with Washington back in 2018. And there's Kamenev, sends it back in. Orlov in, shoots. Oh, what a stop! Rebound, loose in front. They score! Backhanded in by Timken, and Russia has taken the lead.
Michael Bunting, who lost track of Orlov. You got to have your head on a swivel, watching the puck, but watching your defenseman, and Timken's able to clean up the mess. But you watch 27 in the middle of the ice, he gets caught locked in on the puck carrier, and that's his guy behind him. He's got to play that passing lane. He can't let that get through there. Once it does, everything breaks down, and Timken is there to shovel it home.
Timken's first goal as a member of the Russian
big one.
Men's national team. He played in the 2010 World Junior in Saskatoon. That was a heartbreaking loss in the quarterfinals, and the OT goal by Nino Niederreiter of Switzerland, one of the biggest upsets in the history of that tournament. So Timken has the Russians ahead here with 5.5 to go in the second period. Russia is 5-0 in scoring first in this tournament.
You just got to be locked in. You just can't miss assignments. Russia is too good. They will make you pay. And Canada's played very well to this point, but when you give Orlov a backdoor chance like that, a great save by Darcy Kemper takes it below the goal line. And Timken shovels it in the empty net.
Zadorov banks that, had it skipped by Stetcher. He knocked Barabanov off stride. Danforth moved ahead. Some of the Russian players were hollering about that. You'll never see Bragan yell at the official. I can't ever recall seeing it. Here he was knocked down. Barabanov back with it. Tarasenko back for Zadorov. And Power swings back for the loose puck. Owen Power being harassed there by Morozov. Up for Peary. He finds Stetcher. Troy Stetcher moves in. Stetcher, native of Richmond, BC, plays that down and stopped by Bobrovsky.
Big moment for Timken.
30-year-old making his national team debut, men's national team debut.
Not necessarily counted on to be a scorer, but actually ends up going off Baudin's stick up into the top corner. Great save by Darcy Kemper on the first attempt. Too many Canadians playing goalie after that. Never gonna work. Look at that reaction. That is fantastic stuff for Timken.
Look at Murmansk in Russia. Here's Ferraro with it. Mario Ferraro slides that back to Brown. To Ferraro, a centering pass from Mangiapane. That bounces away. Slepyshev back on it.
Grigorenko all alone.
Oh, Walker
picked it out of the air. Last
Voronkov
man back.
moves back in. Ferraro chips that back to center. Provorov has it back. There's been only one power play aside. Russia had won the first, Canada in the second. Walker to Ferraro. In the corner is Walker with it. Walker pivots away from Timken. Ferraro back across. Up the center ice it goes. That bounces by Henrique. Icing waved off, and Bobrovsky out to play it. Zub banks that back to the Canadian line. Inside 4 to go here in the third period, or the second period rather. Baudin. Long lead pass for Hagel. Chips that down to the Russian zone. Zub goes back for it. Hagel trying to seal the wall. Zub throws it back ahead, knocked down by Bernard Docker. So Zub and Bernard Docker, who will be in training camp next year together in Ottawa. Moved in by Tarasenko. Tarasenko shoots. Stopped by Kemper. Tarasenko gathers it back up. Feeds it back at the point to Orlov. Orlov shoots. That's deflected, and Kemper makes the glove save.
Kemper looking very sharp once again as Orlov can really bring it. A little tip, high slot tip there, and Kemper spots it. You gotta be ready to read that one. That's a nice shot for a tip. Puts it right on Karnahov's blade. Like what you've seen out of Darcy Kemper so far.
Karnahov in for the face-off. Bouncing puck goes to Hagel. Across to Foudy. Liam Foudy. Younger brother Jean-Luc, also a top NHL prospect, although Foudy's in the league now, as Foudy backhands that towards the goal, and Bobrovsky, the former Blue Jacket, makes the save.
If you're Canada, you got to maintain your composure, just keep rolling them over, keep playing the same way. Still a very tight game, one shot away from a tie. Don't have to chase anything just yet if you're Canada.
Jiri Inola has scored for Finland. 1-0 lead on the Czech Republic in the second period of the Arena Riga, where the rest of the games we played. This venue is actually a basketball, handball facility. Also was used for a NATO summit one time. It's
like a big gymnasium.
It is, and they've done a really good job making this into an arena.
And to bring in a full compressor cooling system, put the ice on it. Well, reports ice has been good. Sightlines are fine. There's no funny dark spots in the crowd. Seats.
Fans have been allowed in the building since Tuesday. Velarde wins the faceoff back to Walker with a shot. That deflected high. In the corner. Comtois goes after it. Walker steps up, plays it back around to Bunting. Bunting jam play the side of the goal and knocks it across to Comtois. Comtois back at the point. Ferraro has to retreat As it's chipped by him. Ferraro. Second try, plays it back to center to Comtois. Trying to find Bunting. Moved up by Provorov. Bouncing puck to Voronkov. Works in. Voronkov pulls it around. Little back pass for Grigorenko. Broken up by Ferraro. Comtois. Steps into Zub. Walker back with it. Lead pass to Bunting. The puck back to center ice. Back across is Zub. Artem Zub snaps that pass ahead. The centering pass chipped just wide of the goal. By Kamenev. Just moved ahead by Shvets-Rogovoy. High in the air. Ferraro flips that back down. Shvets-Rogovoy collided there with Paul at center ice. And meantime, Bunting and Zub are going at it. Kemper moves it by Shvets-Rogovoy, who's a very aggressive forechecker for the Russians. And Ferraro puts that high in the air. Bouncing puck, trying to find Peary with it. It's in the feet of Nesterov. Nesterov falls. Now Danforth centers it, and Peary chipped that wide. Back is Paul with it. Back to Power. To Danforth. Danforth back to Power. Power long shot, kicked up by Bobrovsky. Barabanov banks it off the boards, held again by Power. Power in for Paul. Nick Paul on the boards, flips that back to Power. Being watched by Tarasenko. Paul plays it back in. Tarasenko's got it and moves it back to center ice. Final minute now, the second period. Stetcher moves it in along with Peary and Henrique. Drop for Paul, winds and shoots, and Bobrovsky makes the save.
Near miss for Brandon Peary. He's been around it on the back door a couple times. As Nesterov falls down, it's a 2-on-1. Zadorov slides it out. He gets it right on his tape. He just cues it. He's too excited. He shoots it before the puck's on his stick. Oh, just rolls off the top. That's the guy you want. He's as good of a goal scorer as there is on the Canadian team. Great hands in and around the net.
Mangiapane plays it back for Bernard Dockerow on wrist shot that goes off a leg. Henrique back on it now. Adam Henrique. Down to Connor Brown. Provorov got in the way. Bernard Docker. As that bounce by. Provorov has always been known as Provorov in Russia. But since he's played in North America, has asked for Provorov, but apparently here insisted that he would prefer to be called Provorov.
It's a lot to digest then.
Slepyshev walks in and shoots. He fired that wide. Held the line. Voronkov. Back down to Slepyshev. Jumping up is Provorov for it. And moved back ahead by Baudin to Mangiapane. Time winding down here in the period. Kamenev plays it back, and Grigorenko will just take the rest of the time off the clock. And Russia will go to the dressing room with a 1-0 lead after the second period.
In a game of very small margins, one mistake, one missed assignment, and Timkin was able to make the Canadians pay. Russia, once again, playing in front, right where they want to be.
You're watching the 2021 World Hockey Championship from Riga, Latvia. Our second intermission is coming up.
it's going to be a
What is that?
2 minutes charging. Yes. Yes.
Just a minute.
2 minutes charging. Up, 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 up. Go, go, go. Hey, boys, easy, 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 go. Hey, let it go, let him go, let him go. Good, good, good. What?
Hit me in the face.
Oh, okay, I did not see that. I only saw your back. Okay, okay. I hear you, I hear you.
The new ice hockey fan gift bingo, powered by
Fucking empty the tanks.
Yep. Everything we got. Nothing to fucking save it for. Empty the tanks. Empty the tanks.
Boy, butts. Keep going.
You get greasy one.
Yeah, it does.
Dude, I feel like I've been slew-footed like every time I go back.
Let's go, boys. Hey, let's go.
Come on, Captain. Come on, gentlemen.
20 minutes.
Come on. Come on. Keep buzzing.
Yeah, let's go.
Do it.
One stretch.
Keep going, G. Fucking nice. Good job.
The United States and Germany are off to the semifinals of this 2021 World Hockey Championship. The last two quarters will decide the next two teams. Finland a 1-0 lead in the Czech Republic, and Russia a 1-0 lead here as Darcy Kemper, the native of Saskatoon, digs in. The teams will start this third period 5-on-5. There have been just 2 power plays in the game. The last one early in the second period.
An unlikely goal scorer, Timkin. On the fourth line, finding a way to break the ice.
Oh, sticks down in the ice. Oh, hey guys, you have to hold it. Oh, hey guys, hold. Go.
Am I going or am I holding?
Tobias Bjorky, longtime international official. We'll likely see him in Beijing at the Olympic Games. Knocked down by Connor Brown. And his top line goes to work for Canada, but Voronkov is all over him. Stetcher's got it back out the other side. Stetcher for Henrique. Gets it down to the Russian zone. It's wide of Bobrovsky, and icing called against Canada.
Adam Henrique has been such a pivotal figure the entire tournament for Canada. He offers just a sense of stability. And I think a lot of that just comes with experience. He's older. He's been in big games. He's been in big moments. So production has been there. 9 points just out of the tournament lead in point production. And I would expect this line to get a solid 8 minutes minimum in this third period.
Back at the point gets by Gavrikov. By the way, the leading goal scorer in the tournament through the preliminary round. Liam Kirk of Great Britain with 7. By way of the Peterborough Petes. Owen Power back with it. Power lays that back for Stetcher.
When was the last time Great Britain had somebody on the all-tournament team?
There probably weren't all-tournament teams back then, so
exactly.
You'd be looking at the 1930s in all likelihood. And that's fired in, and once again, play is called, and icing called against Canada.
I'm sure one of the conversations for Russia was who to play in net in this game.
Well, Bragan has a long history of making unconventional goalie decisions.
And now Sergei Bobrovsky's not an unconventional choice because of his pedigree, but given the situation and the fact that he had a morning skate only and hasn't been on the ice for 10 days.
And he wasn't exactly
killing it. And he wasn't lighting it up when he last played. But he's been sharp so far tonight.
He had 5 goals on 14 shots in his last start against Tampa in Game 4. Was pulled from the net. Orlov back across to Tarasenko, moving in. Tarasenko, little backhand shot. That's loose in front. Morozov with it. Ivan Morozov back to Orlov. To Zub. For Tarasenko, back to Zub. Zub winds and shoots. That goes wide. Tired Canadians on the ice now. Orlov puts that wide. Tarasenko squeezed there by Stetcher. Bunting has broken his stick and quickly heads to the bench as Canada begins the change. Dmitry Orlov. Back across to Zub. Deep pass to Tolchinsky. And that pass broken up by Paul. Nick Paul gets to it and plays it back to center. Nesterov. Up for Tolchinsky, and icing called against Russia.
The way Russia plays, they won't sit back. They won't just collapse and let Canada play on their own end in the third period.
And by the way, this ice surface, the international ice surface, is conducive to defensive sitting back. The Russian Federation will start shrinking their ice surfaces under guidance from the IIHF, which has asked countries to move to closer to the NHL.
So from 100 feet wide internationally, 85 in the NHL, teams are drifting towards 94, 92.
Yeah.
Which will make for better hockey. More action, more goals, less defense.
And the best example of that is take the Olympics that were played on big ice versus the Olympics played on small ice. With the best player, with the NHL players, the best players in the world on the smaller surface, the games are much more high scoring.
Doesn't do Canada any good right now. They're on some big ice trying to get back into this game.
Paul against Voronkov for the face-off. Paul wins it back, and Bernard Docker lunges to keep that alive. And that shoot-in went off Slepyshev up and out of play.
Pretty good effort by Bernard Docker. It's like, what can I do? I'm diving to keep it alive. Just get it back in deep.
Don't miss.
Just don't let it slide by you.
Canada gets the face-off alignment set up as Paul steps in. Off the draw, Peary taken down. Provorov. Taken away by Danforth. He rings it around Bernard Docker. After retreat, as Slepyshev was bearing in on him. Bernard Docker pokes it across to Baudin. Sends it back across. Voronkov got there first for Russia, then he just leaned back and flattened Bernard Docker.
I think Bernard Docker was expecting that degree of contact.
Voronkov loose in the corner with it. Bangs that back to Gavrikov. Gavrikov shoots, blocked in front, picked up by Danforth. Streaking ahead is Peary. Lead pass to Brandon Peary. Now picked up by Paul. Works it in, shoots. That goes high, dribbles right back in front. Chance for Danforth. He flipped it high. And now Slepyshev banks it back around. Provorov. Ivan Provorov, who's just 24, but looks like he's 35. Grizzled veteran.
Feels like he's been around for a long time.
Feels like it too. Star for the Russian junior team. In comes Hagel, back for Foudy. Liam Foudy works in. Hagel back on it. That clearing attempt was blocked by Power. Hagel lays it back in. Stetcher comes jumping up for Canada. Orlov couldn't squeeze it by him. Now Zub out the other side. Artem Zub moved that by Power. Back down the ice. It ticked off a Canadian stick, so there's no icing. Stetcher back for it. Down he goes. And Zadorov has it back. Zadorov, former London Knight in the Ontario League, played a couple of years for them. Dale Hunter and company have a factory of defensemen there. Barabanov works it in, poke check by Walker. Tarasenko collides with Ferraro. Now picked up by Tarasenko, knocked down by Brown, ahead to Mangiapane. Mangiapane being harassed there by Tarasenko, and Tarasenko sent Mangiapane flying, and a penalty coming to Russia. A high sticking call is going to go against Tarasenko, and they're going to check Mangiapane here to see if he's bleeding.
I think Tarasenko is trying to suggest that Mangiapane hit the dasher.
Mangiapane
doesn't agree with that. It's a great back check by Tarasenko, keeping his feet moving, stick active, but what actually makes contact? Oh, it's on the way down. It's the last bit of contact as Mangiapane was falling. He did catch him in the chin. So it wasn't on the initial contact, it was on the way down. Mangiapane and Tarasenko exchanging words about the validity of that penalty.
Pointing at the
did
scoreboard.
show that he was clipped. Big opportunity here for Canada. Follow the bouncing puck. It's Danforth, who's had his best game, I think, of the tournament tonight. I wonder if it's because he's comfortable playing against Russia.
Canada's second power play on. Danforth played in the KHL this year. Reek wins that draw to Mangiapane. Back across by Walker to Connor Brown with a shot off the stick of Shvets Rogovoy. Up and out of play.
Connor Brown.
A terrific tournament for Canada. 10 points, tied for the tournament lead coming in.
Building off what was a great year for him as well. Scored 20 in the shortened season for Ottawa. Led the league, the NHL, in shorthanded goals. Flashing back to his days from Erie, where he led the OHL in scoring win.
OHL MVP. That's Rogovoy. Banks that off the glass and back down the ice. And here is Walker with it. Walker, a lead pass for Brown. Connor Brown. Max Contois drops that back for Walker, but the puck squirted out. Mangiapane plays it back across. Comtois had it knocked away by Karnauhoff. And here's Walker with it as Canada tries to get organized in this power play, which has 80 seconds remaining. Brown up ahead for Henrique. Mangiapane with it. That's spun around. Brown with it. A rolling puck. Back in the corner to Mangiapane. Brings it back around. Comtois holds the line for Canada. Maxime Comtois drops it off to Brown as Canada gets set up. Brown with it. Throws it back in front. Henrique with a chance. Scores! Adam Henrique on the power play, and Canada has tied the game.
The entire Russian bench wants to check this for offside on the entry, but what a nice little feed from Brown to Henrique. It was a bit of a broken play at the blue line on the way in. 20 seconds ago, nothing to do with the goal, but we'll be able to go back and review it. Take a look, see if they want to challenge it. Connor Brown, so good from this spot. Down on the goal line, that's where he's best on the power play. I think he likes what he sees, and he's good at these little space passes. Putting it right in the stick. He's got to flip it up and over and land it right where Henrique can do something with it. He chips it up and over the shoulder of Bobrovsky.
And the proximity here, the video coaches are right behind the bench. The Russian assistant coach looked up. The video coach looked at his laptop, looked out and shook his head no. The play's onside. So it's a 1-1 tie here in the third period. And Adam Henrique, the captain, has his 5th goal of the tournament. Nesterov plays it back in. Stetcher back around to Power. Owen Power up ahead for Paul out of his reach. Nesterov back with it. Voronkov spins back at the line. Paul up ahead for Peary. Now Stetcher flips it back down to the Russian zone. Zadorov. As Peary falls, picked up by Paul. In the corner for Danforth. Backs it back for Stetcher. Stetcher's pass broken up by Slepyshev, who sends it down. Con Slepyshev spent parts of 3 seasons with Edmonton. Couldn't really get any traction there. Has been terrific since returning to the KHL. Orlov, lead pass for Slepyshev, tied up by Ferraro, now it's picked up by Kamenev. Kamenev works in around Ferraro, throws it back in front, knocked away by Kemper. Puck loose behind the goal. Move back to Zub with a long shot, that's deflected wide. Timken, back to Zub. Zub risks it back in deep. That's taken away by Walker. Kamenev has it stolen away by Foudy. Liam Foudy kicked that ahead. Now Zub has it back for Russia. Across to Orlov. And of course, the Russians not able to wear their traditional uniforms or hear their anthem at the end of games. They're not called Russia here. They're the Russian Olympic Committee. It's all part of the sanctions handed to the Russians for the doping violations. Investigation by Wada. Look out, that peeled off power stick now picked up by Stetcher. Lead pass for Foudy. In comes Liam Foudy. The speedster, a little backhand shot. That goes wide. Hagel back on it. Hagel around to Foudy. Foudy goes back to Stetcher. A shot that was blocked. And now Morozov's ahead with Barabanov. Skip back to Tarasenko. In comes Tarasenko. Feeds it there for Provorov. In shoots. That deflected wide as Power got a stick on it. Foudy lifts it high in the air, and Provorov trails back. Provorov came over to North America as a 15-year-old to play. Played his under-16 hockey in Pennsylvania. Now Brown with it. Connor Brown works in. Rolling puck at the side of the goal. Henrique couldn't reach it, and now Brown skates through the net. He was pushed there by Karnauhoff. And so the faceoff will stay in the Russian zone. 12-16 to go in the third. We're tied at 1. One of the interesting parts of this tournament has been watching the veteran Canadian players interacting with Owen Power. And right before this face-off, both Connor Brown and Andrew Mangiapane talking with him, and he's been a sponge here at this tournament. And
going to be playing against them next year, potentially.
Matty Beniers, another top draft prospect playing for Team USA, was hurt today in the game against Slovakia. And you hope he's not seriously hurt, but he didn't look great. Stetcher. Up ahead for Brown. And there's Powers. Rink wide pass for Henrique.
Not everyone.
Henrique drops it back. Brown. Another penalty coming as Brown was spilled. Nesterov touches up at a tripping call against Russia. Moments after Canada tied the game on a power play.
It's a great outlet pass, and everyone's going. Canada was almost committing 5 guys on that rush. At some point, someone's got to ease off and pull back. But it's Connor Brown. Nice fake here, steps inside, and Nesterov clips him there. No complaint about that one. Canada, who just tied the game on the power play, go back to work. They're going to take their first lead of the night.
Henrique with his second power play goal of the tournament, now time for the team lead. It was Canada's 5th. Don't forget, Canada scored 2 goals in its first 9 periods of the tournament.
Long since forgotten now.
Contois. See if he lost his stick or broke it there. Just lost it. And now Henrique pulls it free. Back around it goes to Connor Brown, who holds the line. Brown winds in, will drop pass. Walker, his shot, that was blocked. And the rebound cleared away by Shvets-Rogovoy.
Good block by Havanev. Not in a great spot, deep away from Walker, and lays out and takes it in the rib area.
Connor Brown winds in across the line for Mangiapane. Drops it off to Walker. Across he goes to Contois. Maxime Contois drops it back, and Walker can't quite hold the line. Brown up it for Mangiapane. He got bumped there by Zadorov. Brown keeps it alive at the line for Henrique, but it's poked away by Barabanov. Barabanov was signed as a free agent by Toronto. You mentioned. Didn't play a lot there. Traded to San Jose and kind of took off with the Sharks. Now Brown drops it back, and it's picked off and sent down the ice by Kamenev.
Good job by the Russian penalty killers, not letting Canada get set up. Pressing early.
45 seconds to go on this Canadian power play. Gabe Vilardi across the line now. Vilardi goes that rink wide again. Shvets-Rogovoy got a stick on that.
Just tossed Peary to the corner. Nothing illegal about it, but he just strong on his skates when he goes into collisions.
Power with it. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Lead pass now for Bunting. Takes the return pass. Shoots. Bobrovsky saved. Bunting back on it. Drops it back to Power. Has a look. Owen Power feeds it back. Vilardi works in. His pass across was knocked away. At the point is Power. Owen Power. Long wrist shot. Loose in front. Vilardi pokes at it. Danforth gets a chance, and Bobrovsky has got that.
Danforth finds a way to get a stick on this loose puck in front. I like the shooting mentality. It's going to be hard to hit the seams against a pretty good Russian penalty kill. If you can get it down to the front of the net, who knows what can happen. Whether it's Powers, wrister, or this Walker slapper. Oh my goodness, off one knee, hand into the other hand. That will sting, but teammates certainly appreciate that kind of sacrifice.
5 seconds to go on the penalty to Nikita Nesterov. Off the draw, controlled by Russia. Zadorov, a lead pass to center ice, but Rogovoy couldn't corral that. Nesterov back out there now. Russia's got 3 defensemen on the ice for the moment. Kamenev. Up there by Paul. Kamenev plays it back around, and Russia starts to change. We're past the midway point of the third period. Canada and Russia tied at 1 in the third period of this quarterfinal. The 9th straight game between the two countries for the World Championship that's taken place in the medal round. Back goes Walker for it. Being watched by Slepyshev, the Russian captain. Paul played it back in front for Henrique. That was almost picked off by Grigorenko. Now that bouncing puck knocked down by Orlov, who plays it ahead. Grigorenko moves in. Mikhail Grigorenko swings that back for Slepyshev. Slepyshev tried to center it. That was blocked by Walker. Slepyshev back with it. Spins and shoots. Tipped on goal, and Kemper's got that. What a chance in front.
What a stop by Kemper.
On Dmitry Voronkov. 8:50 to go in the third period. Still tied at 1. Captain Adam Henrique has the power play goal to tie the game up here in the third period. Roughly 1,000 fans allowed in this arena. That's all cheering for Russia. Provorov has it. Down to Tarasenko. And across the way to Rina Riga. Still 1-0 Finland. Leaving the Czech Republic. Tarasenko walks out. Tried to center for Gavrikov, who moved up. Stetcher plays it back ahead. Peary had to go off his skate. And now Tarasenko gathers it back up. Vladimir Tarasenko shields off Stetcher. Tarasenko was in the box when Henrique scored that tying goal. Played back in by Morozov. Leading back is Barabanov to Zadorov. Morozov shoots, hit the leg of Stetcher. And now a chance right in front for Berdov. And Berdasov turned away. Now another chance, and Barabanov couldn't quite reach that.
Berdasov coming off the bench. So hard to pick up guys coming from outside the blue line. You can't get up and close them. It's into a really good look.
Power. Lead pass to Henrique to Brown. So now this trio of Henrique, Brown, and Mangiapane has scored 11 of Canada's 20 goals in the tournament.
And also on the ice for Comtois for some of his power play work.
In comes Walker, who rings that around. Waiting for it is Brown. Back at the point is Ferraro. Mario Ferraro for Walker. Shoots. That was blocked in front by Nesterov. Ranahua has it picked out by Ferraro. Lead pass to Mangiapane. Drops it for Brown. That was poked away by Zadorov. Grigorenko with it now with Voronkov. Grigorenko winds that around. Slepyshev on it now. Slepyshev. This Grigorenko, that pass, and Orlov has it back. Dmitry Orlov throws it down to Grigorenko. Banks that back. Zoom, a long shot. Knocked away by Kemper. Slepyshev. Bumped by Velarde. Here comes Slepyshev with a shot. He missed wide. And the puck goes back to center ice. 6:45 to go in the third period. Orlov moves in. Dmitry Orlov winds right in. Shoots, and Kemper turns that away. What a dash by Dmitry Orlov.
Everything but the finish.
Knocked back by Velarde. Bunting trying to work that freight. Picked up by Baudin. And Walker plays that way up in the air. There's no center ice scoreboard in this rink. Oh, that would have hit him. Timken. That's Rogovoy. Back down to Kamenev. Kamenev feeds that back to Provorov. Provorov, a shot that deflected just wide. That's Rogovoy. Back to Provorov with it again. Ivan Provorov shoots from a sharp angle. Kemper got a stick on that. And it's moved back out by Hagel. That's Rogovoy with it. Slides it back to Gavrikov. Russia 6-1 in the preliminary round. The highest scoring team in this World Championship. And a battle with Canada, which scraped into the quarterfinals, thanks to the fact that Germany and Latvia ended their game in regulation. Now a lead pass knocked in by Foudy. Liam Foudy up along the boards, tied up by Hagel. Anderson Dolan comes in. Picked up by Morozov. Ferraro jumps up from the blue line to keep it alive for Canada. Ferraro pokes it back for Foudy. Now retreats. Morozov has it back across to Zadorov. Stetcher steps up on this side. And it's moved back down to the Canadian zone. Henrique goes back and icing waved off. And we've got 5 minutes to go in the third period. In comes Connor Brown. Brown winds in. Brown flips it back across to Walker. In shoots. Bobrovsky punched that away. Couldn't find it for a moment. He was tied up with Henrique. Grigorenko lifts it high in the air. And leaping to knock that down was Ferraro, but it's a hand pass called at center ice. 4:45 to go in the third period. A 1-1 tie here at the World Hockey Championship. Here between Canada and Russia. Across the street, 1-0. Finns still leading the Czechs in that quarterfinal. Voronkov for Russia, tied up there by Power. Now Voronkov tries to spin free. Henrique got a stick on him. Stetcher plays it back around to Brown. Orlov knocked it down for Russia. Kept it alive for Slepyshev. Power back to Stetcher. He hacks at it and it goes back to center ice to Brown. Slepyshev ranged back, but Mangiapane took that away from him for a moment. Zub has it back. Artem Zub to Slepyshev. Up for Grigorenko. Look out, that goes rocketing into the crowd. Over the low side glass.
Look at Adam Henrique, who scores the tying goal for Canada. And he's had a few different looks. Like on the one-timer, the closest breakaway in the first period, and then eventually, as he stays with it, he's hot, pulling off those hands. Here they go, chip it up and over. Strong hands in tight. He's got a great stick in those scrum situations around the front of the net.
Different ages, different places. But that trio of Henrique, Brown, and Mangiapane has been terrific.
Very complimentary games, which doesn't always come together as quickly as it has for Canada in this tournament.
Mangiapane scored 5 goals his last 4 games in the NHL before coming over. Velarde with it. Knocks it back to Ferraro. Walker snaps that pass ahead to Velarde. Moving in with Bunting. Gabe Velarde comes in now. Drops it back to Bunting. Poked away, and Timken's got it back for Russia. Big Evgeny Timken comes lumbering in. And Power squeezes him off the puck. Comtois to Power. Up at Timken at the puck behind him. And the play's offside. And the face-off will be outside the Canadian line. 3:22 to go. in the third period.
Something we've talked about an awful lot throughout this tournament is teams that are the underdog trying to shorten the game.
Right.
And obviously we're down to 3:22. Canada was unquestionably the underdog in this game. And by playing so well in the first period, keeping it tight, Darcy Kemper being sharp, they brought this down to a coin flip, which is exactly where you want to be.
If it's tied after regulation, it's a 10-minute 3-on-3 overtime period. If it's still tied after that, it's a shootout.
No way these two teams play 10 minutes of 3-on-3 and not score a goal.
We saw that earlier between Germany and Switzerland. Now picked up by Morozov. Ivan Morozov. The second Ivan Morozov who's played for the Russian national team at the World Championship. Now Paul sends it back down the Russian zone as Provorov goes back. 3 to go in the third period. Gavrikov drops it back to Provorov. Up ahead for Morozov. Stetcher goes back for it. Troy Stetcher plays it back around to Power. Power. Lead pass to Paul. Try to flip that ahead for Danforth to Paul. He pokes it in, knocked down by Zub. Morozov has it back. Ivan Morozov with a rink-wide pass to Grigorenko. Mikhail Grigorenko moving in on Walker. Move that by him. Hagel chops at it. Here's Ferraro. Tied up by Voronkov on the forecheck. Ferraro tries to poke that ahead. Now it's knocked down by Walker. Walker. Up ahead to Peary. Chips that to center ice. Moved back down by Orlov, and now moved up by Ferraro. In comes Mario Ferraro. Drops it back, and a quick shot there by Anderson Dolan. Kicked away by Bobrovsky.
Pretty heavy shot from Anderson Dolan. Got it away quickly.
And icing called, and the Russians have tired players on the ice with 2:08 to go. And Dragan is talking to his assistant coach.
You can call timeouts off icings, unlike the NHL. And Mario Ferraro just does not quit. Those feet keep moving the entire game. He's chopping up, pushing forward despite playing big minutes. Up the last chance for Anderson Dolan.
So Canada comes back with the big line. Henrique, Mangiapane, and Brown. Henrique wins the face-off back to Power. Power rings it around to Brown. Picked up by Orlov, and Dmitry Orlov up for Grigorenko. He'll gain center ice, not get it far enough. The Russians begin part of the change. Now Power's got it. Owen Power drops it back to Stetcher. Stetcher, lead pass for Brown. He fires that around. Zub on it. Mangiapane stepped into him. Zub to the line, but not out. Held by Power. Across he goes to Stetcher. In comes Stetcher with a shot. That might have ticked off the crossbar. And now Slepyshev lifts it back ahead, but Henrique kept it alive for the moment. Grigorenko knocks it back out. The puck goes into the Canadian bench, and with 1:29 to go, play is stopped.
Another close call in front of Sergei Bobrovsky. Nice job by Power and Stetcher not leaving the zone too early and bailing on the play. Patience, get the shot off. And I think this actually hits the tip of Orlov or Bobrovsky's stick. A shot that was labeled to the top corner.
The face-off will be at center ice. Shots in the period are even at 6. In the game, it's 23-21 Russia. Zadorov throws that back down in the Canadian zone, and there's an unforced error by Zadorov. Icing will win the face-off back down to the Russian zone with 1:23 to go in the third.
And Gerard Gallant right away after about a 15-second rest. Here comes Adam Henrique's line. Offensive zone face-off. Minute 23 on the clock and going back to the big line.
Henrique, Mangiapane, and Brown. Now Kamenev will take the face-off for Russia. Henrique plays that back to Walker. Walker rings it around for Brown. Shovels it across to Ferraro. Ferraro. Long wrist shot. Bobrovsky steered that away. Now Zadorov on it. He's tangled up with Mangiapane. And Shivitz Rogovoy up for Nestorov. Pounds that down. Kemper makes the save on that. He'll have to hang on with Kamenev looking for a loose puck, and the face-off will be in the Canadian zone with 59 seconds to go in the third period.
So we got him 25 seconds in the offensive zone. Couple touches, couple looks, and then change when they get back into their own end. It is crunch time now for everybody.
Gerard Gallant told his team before the game, his young group, relax, enjoy it. Enjoy the moment.
They've done themselves proud. This has been a good game, probably Canada's best game of the tournament.
Off the face-off, Danforth won it. Stetcher drops it back to Danforth, across to Power. Owen Power for Nick Paul. Feeds it back to Danforth, who chips that down to the Russian zone. Picked up by Provorov. Thanks to that to Barabanov by Stetcher. Power ranges back. Stetcher to Danforth at center ice. Karnahuov knocked that ahead, and Bunting goes back to pick it up. 30 seconds to go in the period. Paul sweeps it down to the Russian zone. Bobrovsky out to play it. Shoots it across to Gavrikov. Now Tarasenko has it with Barabanov. Tarasenko to Barabanov. The pass too far for him. Stetcher leaves it there for Power. Don't think they would have imagined at the start of the tournament that the 18-year-old
closing out a tie game in an elimination game against Russia.
Time winding down here in the period, and Canada and Russia will go to overtime with a spot in the semifinals at stake.
Canada battled, defended, and were opportunistic on a power play opportunity in the third period. Been led by their good players, Adam Henrique, Connor Brown again, Darcy Kemper, rock solid in net. And now it gets interesting, 3-on-3 for up to 10 minutes. You can't imagine that there won't be more than a few good looks.
You're watching the 2021 World Hockey Championship from Riga, Latvia. Overtime coming up.
Third period, Team ROC 1, Team Canada 1. Shots on goal, third period, Team Canada 7, Team ROC 7. Shots on goal, regular time. Team Canada 22, Team ROC 24. As the score is tied after regular time, a 10-minute overtime will follow. The overtime will be played with one goaltender and 3 skaters per team.
Let's get down, let's get down to business. Let's get down, let's get down to business.
That was the 2018 quarterfinal between Canada and Russia. Ryan O'Reilly, the overtime winner, send Canada to the semifinals. Darcy Kemper's been terrific in this game, as is Sergei Bobrovsky, who's making his first appearance in this World Championship. Canada's won the last 3 meetings against Russia. This is the 9th straight World Championship game between the two countries that's taken place in the medal round. They split the previous 8. Russia's last win was in the quarterfinals in 2011.
It's just incredibly tight. The game's been tight every year, regardless of the players. And so we're going to go 3-on-3. Adam Henrique, Mangiapane, Stetcher, Morozov, Tarasenko, and Provorov, who has been
and as you
very
said,
good.
It doesn't feel like this can last long.
No.
Not 3-on-3. The Germany-Switzerland overtime game earlier was very cautious, a lot of regrouping.
Morozov takes the faceoff, wins it, changes right away for Bertasov.
In comes Tarasenko. Tarasenko in on Stetcher, walks in and shoots, and Kemper makes the save and drops it down for Mangiapane.
I like it. Take possession when you can have it.
And Mangiapane in with Henrique, drops it back to Stetcher. In comes Troy Stetcher, and that plays offside as Henrique had to hop to get out of the way.
Kind of rush. You can find Tarasenko, attack him. He's not used to playing skating backwards. He's not used to defending. He's good great going offensively, but when he's got to go the other way, I'd want to find him and make him pivot.
He had the shootout winner for Russia against Sweden in the 6th round. He didn't shoot in the first. He wasn't one of their first 5 shooters. You don't want the guy with 200 and some NHL goals.
You're saving him for the clincher.
Although shootouts haven't really been his thing in the NHL, strangely enough.
If I could shoot like him, I would just walk in and shoot every time. Forget Deacon.
Here's Power out there with Brown and Danforth. As overtime is underway. Owen Power drops it back to Connor Brown. In comes Brown with it. Winds in, Connor Brown. Spins back in the corner, Brown. Looks for Power. Owen Power being shouted there by Orlov. And now Power bobbled the puck for a moment, has to go back to center ice. Orlov was on him.
That was close. Orlov almost was in alone on a poke.
Danforth sends it back down, and that's icing against Canada. The faceoff back down to the Canadian zone, and they can't change.
There he is once again. Owen Power, overtime, second shift. And he's just fearless. There's no hesitation in his game, although there might want to be when you're mishandling on an Orlov in overtime with nobody behind you. It's good to be young and naive.
Danforth for the face-off against Slepyshev, wins it. Danforth back in the Canadian lineup after missing their final round robin game against Finland. And now Danforth makes his way off. Henrique comes back on. And Brown lets Power get off as Walker comes on, and then Power, or rather, Brown will make his way to the bench. And shouted there by Slepyshev.
Cut the net tight, you lose him.
Veteran move by Brown as he works in across the line. Connor Brown looks ahead for Walker, that's broken up by Zub. And now Henrique gets loose. Adam Henrique flips it back for Connor Brown. Crisscrossing with Henrique. Brown throws it back in front. Chip wide by Henrique. Walker ranges back in the race now with Slepyshev. And Slepyshev moving in. Being shadowed by Walker. He shoots. That goes high over the glass. It was deflected, and the faceoff will stay in the Canadian zone.
Close calls for Adam Henrique once again, and Connor Brown connecting. Connor Brown catches Rush on a little bit of a switch. Oh, and Bobrovsky does get his blocker on that same kind of shot that Henrique scored on. A little chip shot from in tight, almost. And looks like they're going to get Henrique back on the ice.
Yeah.
For the late change, that was a shot that was deflected into the crowd. There's no reason to.
Well, the problem, Russia's the home team, had the last change, so Canada tried to make a late one. They can't, yeah. So Henrique wins that face-off back to Stetcher. Stetcher spins back. Puts it back across to Henrique with Mangiapane. Andrew Mangiapane with it. Canada lost its only overtime game in a shootout to Finland. The Russians won their only one in a shootout against Sweden. In comes Mangiapane, drops it back to Stetcher, moves it, oh, what a move by Stetcher, walks back in front, loose puck, they score! Mangiapane, the overtime winner, and Canada's on to the semifinals. Canada has done what looked to be impossible. Knocked off the powerhouse Russians. And once again, Canada finds a way. It doesn't seem to matter, Mike, who puts at that uniform. Belief is such a powerful thing.
And they're growing and believing. And are you kidding me, Troy Stetcher? Are you kidding me?
That is the gutsiest.
He is last man back in overtime, and he's going to go through his feet to get to the net. That is all guts and all the glory. What a play by Troy Stetcher. And then again, Mangiapane, who's been doing it all tournament long.
Got here for the 4th game when Canada was 0-3.
Right, so he attacks Morozov. Smart move, gets it back to Stetcher. Now this, oh my gosh, backhand heel. The move of his life, Troy Stetcher. Oh my goodness. And then how about him putting it on a tee over to Mangiapane? This is as good as it gets for the win in overtime. Unbelievable performance by Team Canada. for the upset.
And time now for the player of the game presentations, and then the top 3 players for Russia, followed by the Canadian anthem. Valery Bragin, in his nightmares, is going to see Canadians. So many heartbreaking losses for the Russian national team coach, now previously the Russian junior team coach, and this one ends with a thud in the quarterfinals.
Darcy Kemper, so good. Adam Henrique, but Troy Stetcher just pulling that out of the bag of tricks at the most opportune time. And Sergei Bobrovsky, the player of the game. He was solid in his one and only game in this tournament.
Best player of Team Canada, number 25, Owen Power.
How about that? Owen Power, through regulation, played over 23 minutes. The 18-year-old has not been drafted yet. We talked to Gerard Gallant before the tournament. How much will Power play? Not sure.
Not much. And that here he is, player of the game against Russia in overtime win. Just amazing stuff.
Now the top 3 players of the tournament for Russia far sooner than they thought they'd be getting them.
Ladies and gentlemen, now the award of the 3 best players of Team ROC, the tournament that are...
They had such high hopes for this tournament, did the Russians. They got a lot of their top players to the KHL. Then they got some NHL guys late. Tarasenko came, Orlov came, Bobrovsky came.
That's what makes this tournament so tough and great. When you get to the quarterfinals, in a 1-game elimination, anything can happen.
Provorov is one of the players, or the top 3 players of the tournament for Russia. This one stings for the Russians. There are Russian fans in front of us in tears. Hold this tournament with such esteem, and they put such an emphasis on the performance of their sports teams for national pride. And that man can only wonder how the highest scoring team in the tournament was held to 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to the national anthem of Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance. The 2021 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship will continue on Saturday with the semifinals in Arena Riga at 2:15 and 6:15 p.m.
Fucking right, Max. Good job, buddy. Good job. You ain't done. You ain't done.
Anton, I can see the look of disappointment on your team's faces. How are you feeling in this moment?
It's tough to say something right now. Really good start of the first period, and after we played not really good, and Canada will better us and quicker us, and very tight game till the overtime, and one mistake and one rebound and it's goal, so it's tough to say something right now.
Did you expect this game to be this close, given the fact that you brought in so many players?
Yeah, of course we expected a really hard game because Canada played not really well on the group time, so we expected a hard game.
Moving forward, what lessons can you learn from this game?
We need some time to think about it. One goal is. We scored only one goal. We had to play more offensive, try to go to the net more, and it's tough to win when you scored only one goal.
Thank you. I have one question in Russian. Can you answer in Russian? What is just the feeling moments after this game?
Ну, конечно, это расстройство. Большие планы были на этот турнир. Все думали только о победе. Была хорошая команда, у нас было все для этого, но сегодняшняя игра, я могу за всех ребят сказать, что отдали все силы, да, что-то не получалось. Один гол, это очень мало, но ребята бились до конца.
Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Andrew, you guys barely squeaked into the quarterfinals. You've just upset the top team in this tournament. How does it feel?
It feels great. I don't know, lots of words. It was a great all-around group effort by our guys there. Before coming in the game, I think we all believed that we could do it, right? I think our game was trending in the right direction, and it was a great way to battle back there in the third and get the win.
You guys pushed this to overtime. You got a great feed from Troy. Walk me through what you saw there.
Yeah, I don't know. I dropped it to him. I wanted them to shoot it maybe 1, 2, 3 times, and then I was like, okay, maybe a pass 1, 2, 3 times, and he made a hell of a move there and walked right around him, and it was a great pass by him, and I just was there to tap it home. It was a great play by Troy over there.
You knew defense was going to have to be a game factor in this. What did Darcy Kemper do for you guys back there?
Oh, he's a great, awesome goalie, right? So gives us a lot of confidence to make plays, and if we mess up, he's always there to stop the door for us. So he was unreal for us, and we're going to need him down the stretch here.
How do you guys use all the experiences you've had in this tournament and bring that into the semifinals?
Yeah, just keep playing our game, all right? I don't think we were happy with our start at all, and to build off, game 4 there and just keep building every game, and we're trending in the right direction, and that's awesome to see from our guys, and we're playing the right way. So we just got to keep playing hard, playing full 60 every game, and good things will happen for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
The 2021 IIHF app, powered by Skoda. Download it now from the Apple App Store and Google Play. Skoda. Simply the moment we've all been waiting for. The games we have always wanted are finally here. Hello, sir. Here's your order. The new Ice Hockey Fan Gift Bingo, powered by Transit.